Hello there, and welcome to another episode here on the Strong by Design podcast show. This is your host, your solo host, Coach Chris Wilson. Today, I am doing something we have not yet done here on Strong by Design, finishing what is actually our, what is this, 18, 19? Are we in our fourth season? Yeah. Finishing out our fourth year on the show. I have yet to do a solo podcast talking about something that I feel strongly about, something I've learned, something I just is on my heart, on my mind, and that I feel like I can help other people with. And so I wanted to start to dive into doing this a little bit more often, having some solo topics where I don't necessarily need a conversation back and forth. It's something that that's just that I just want to kind of tackle, and maybe I can reach at least one person on the other side who's dealt with this same thing, struggled maybe, and we're problem solution oriented here at Strong by Design, or it really just what we do as a business here at Critical Bench is come up with really cool ways in the health and fitness space of helping people very simply navigate through something, or tackle something that's otherwise pretty darn challenging. We like to simplify things and make them work in our very busy lives. And so first of all, before I dive into what this is, and I'm sure you're curious, don't waste your most precious gift. People are like, well, what are you actually talking about there? I want to say thank you to all of our listeners, to our return listeners, to our brand new listeners. The show has really taken off this year in particular, getting more downloads than ever before on a weekly basis. We've hit several records and PRs, we call it around here, personal records. Which is kind of like old powerlifting talk when you get a PR or any kind of individual sport. So a lot of PRs here in the last several weeks and months in 2022. So exciting stuff. So you're coming into the show at the right time as we continue to build momentum well into 200 plus episodes now. And we're in a lot of ways we feel like we're kind of just getting started. The more you do these shows, the more you have meaningful conversation. Just the better you get, and for me, I just look forward to these more and more. It's a lot of fun. There's preparation, sure, but I'm a talker. And if you're a podcaster, you probably like to talk. And if you're a podcast listener, you like to consume content and try to find ways to better your life. And that's really what I do when I'm listening in the car to podcasts, to audiobooks. It's things that I'm interested in that I just don't have time for in my busy day. But oftentimes when I'm driving, or if I'm exercising, or something like that, and I can just listen to something, this is where I go. It's not always just music, and I love my music, but I love listening to a good audiobook. I love listening to a good podcast, and I have about 5 or 6 podcasts I listen to on a regular basis, and probably go through at least a dozen or so audiobooks a year. It's not even a lot, right? It's like one a month. That's not a big deal. So let's dive into this. What is your most precious gift? And I'm sure a lot of people would say, the people in their lives, or they would say their children. They would say, their spouse. They would say, maybe a parent, or, typically it's a very personal thing, and it's typically related to other persons in our lives. And certainly all of those people rank very high in terms of being a precious gift. But the most precious gift is our time. is our time in this life, is our time in our day, and what we do or choose to do with our time, how we manage our time. This is an area of life I have struggled in for a long time. I am by no means perfect. I still have a long way to go in terms of optimizing and managing my time and getting the most out of my day. There's people that do it very well, that create whole businesses out of this. The Craig Ballantynes of the world, people like that who, make a living doing coaching, helping people to be more productive, and finding ways to structure. Through structure comes freedom. And it's not a stranglehold on your life. Actually, when you're more planned out and investing the time and effort and energy into knowing what tomorrow looks like, it actually opens up a lot of opportunity and a lot of freedom. It's truly remarkable how it works. Oftentimes in life, you think something would be one way, but it's oftentimes the exact opposite effect. So I wanted to just get into, why is time management so vital to success? For me, I refer to it as flexible time management, because I think for most of us, we're very rigid in how we operate, or in certainly in the feedback that we give ourselves. We're very kind of mean or cruel to ourselves. A lot of negative self-talk when we don't do what we were hoping to do or get accomplished. So I like to approach this as more of a flexible time management. As I talk through all these points, I think you'll understand where I'm going. So I wrote, and I have a lot of good notes here, but what I wrote the other day was, time is the one thing that is limited. None of us has more time than another in a given day, but we can create, in quotes, more time by how we use it. So by how we use the time in our day, we can, in essence, create more productive time. Okay, so there were some things that I went through here that are, quite obvious, I think, for a lot of people who give this subject matter any thought at all. Number one, it's agenda setting and planning. Again, depending on obviously your line of work, your career, but I mean, you can adopt these principles into your personal life as well. Having an agenda or having a plan for that day, for tomorrow, for next week or next month, this is an important thing in most successful businesses. They know, loosely what the next day, what the next week, next month looks like. They have created a calendar of events and things they would like to accomplish along the way. And so this is a very important thing to start creating in lots of ways in your life, whether it's, creating a schedule or a plan for your exercise, for time with your loved ones, for a hobby or something that you're looking to improve at that's just fun and purposeful or life-giving for you. Maybe it could be time offering your services to something, doing charitable work, anything. Okay, it's not just work, right? The second thing would be prioritizing then your tasks. So having actual structure to the things that are important or the things that you need to do, you prioritize them. This is the most important. This would be second, third, fourth down the line, and really tackle that most important thing first. I mean, that should be the thing that you go after every day with your best efforts and your freshest mind, and then kind of go from there. So, and a lot of times we can gravitate to the easy stuff first, the low-hanging fruits in our lives. We can gravitate, and I'm guilty of it myself. I'll say, what? Oh, pardon me, I have an alarm going off. I'll stop that. No sense in editing that out. That makes it more fun. So, that lowest hanging fruit sometimes in our day is the thing that we'll just kind of go for because it's easy, it feels good, you can get it done in 5, 10, 15 minutes. It's more pleasurable, right? But it's that 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 bigger task, that more important thing that can kind of loom over our day. But if you get at it early, even if you don't finish it or complete it, but you just get at it early and just take a little bit of time at it and take some nips out of it, or some bite-sized pieces out of that big task, that important thing, it can build that momentum, and you'll feel that sense of, oh, okay, good. I did get to it a little bit today. I didn't get it done, but I'm in it now. And you start to build that momentum. And then if you can string together a few days like that, it becomes much easier over time to kind of go after those bigger things each day as your priority tasks, okay? And go after those first. Another thing would be obviously goal setting. Something that everyone does, or most people do at the beginning of a year. They set some goals for themselves. Hopefully they have, an actual plan to hit those goals as well, right? You have to have action steps in order to hit a goal. And be very clear, very detailed and specific with what your goal is. General stuff does not work. Get specific, drill down deep, bullet point it out so you really know all the details. And then, get, put a time to it, put a timeline to it. By this point, I want to be this far in, build as much detail into it as possible. The clearer that vision, the better your chances of getting there. And then fourthly, I put accountability and monitoring your progress. So what are the things that you're going to build into this new structure, this new habit, this new goal, or this plan of attack, what you're hoping to accomplish? Who's going to hold you accountable? Yourself? That can be a good thing. You can hold yourself accountable to things, but getting other people involved, coworkers, supervisors, family members, friends, that can be huge for you, so that you have other people that are helping kind of, pull you in the right direction and help you reach your mark. And when everybody's on board, it definitely makes things easier. You're swimming, don't feel like you're swimming upstream. It feels like you're more in the flow and swimming with the current when other people are part of whatever that is that you're hoping to get done, when they're on board with it. And that you can't always get that necessarily. Some people, they don't like when other people around them are trying to level up or make positive change in their life. So, but you got to also look at who you're surrounding yourself with. You want people that are supportive and helping you to reach your goals, okay? So let's move on to the next part of this. And I just hit on it. The importance of other people, of course, in your life, but the importance of respecting other people's time. Okay, so by managing yourself, your own time, you are now going to become more respectful and more in tune, more aware, more sensitive of other people's time. And this is something where I really need a lot of help, where I've improved, but I still have a long way to go. Ask my wife. The importance of respecting other people's time. So these are the things that I wrote thinking about this. It shows that you care and that you put others first when you respect someone else's time, when you're on time for something else, when you say to somebody you're going to be somewhere at a particular point in time and you show up at that time, that shows that person you care, that you went out of your way to do what you said you were going to do. And again, that's one of those things where, things happen, traffic, or, you got stuck at work, or, an accident, these things happen. But if it's a regular occurring thing, you're going to lose people, and people, they won't count on you. They'll be like, he's always late. She's always late. They're just, and they might still love you, but they're not maybe loving that part of you. And that's an area where I really have work to do there. I've gotten better, certainly, but I am pretty hard on myself in this particular topic because I know I can do better. It's like in the moment that you've messed up. I know in the moment that I stayed at work too long and left too late, and that I didn't give myself enough time to get to where I needed to go at the time I wanted to be there. And sometimes I just set myself up for failure by putting too much on my plate, trying to get too much done, too much accomplished. You got to set realistic, daily tasks and plans and objectives for yourself. Sometimes we can just put too much on our plate and there's just no way we're going to be able to get to all of it, right? So be a little bit more aware there, and I'm going to work on that one myself. The importance of respecting other people's time. It keeps them on track too and doesn't drag down your team or your family, right? It keeps them, like if you're going to get somebody, maybe to pick them up, to bring them somewhere, right? Maybe like me, I have to go and get my son to bring him to baseball. Even though I'm one of the coaches, I'm the head coach, it's still like his team's waiting for him to be there, right? So by me leaving late, getting to him late, getting to practice late or a game late, like I've messed up he's completely out of control on that one, right? Like that's totally dad right there. So I have messed him up and made his life more stressful, more frustrating because of my actions. So respect certainly other people's time, and or like what we do here at Critical Bench, we have a daily huddle meeting. It's just a really short check-in meeting. On Mondays we do team meetings. Like I go out of my way. I set alarms on my phone. I'm going to get there. I have some simple things that you can do to help keep you on task. But just this little thing of having a daily huddle at a particular time and a weekly meeting has done a really good job of kind of getting me, tuned in with certain days. There's certain things and places you need to be at certain times, and there is no excuse for being late. There isn't. Certainly stuff, again, happens, but that has to be like a total anomaly. It cannot be the status quo. It can't be the regular thing. And so I've absolutely gone out of my way to not let other team members down and respecting their time. It creates a positive work culture or family culture. When you're on time and respectful of your spouse's time, your children's time, devoting X amount of minutes or hours per week to certain things, like it creates better culture, better feelings, a better environment. It's all good, positive stuff. And when you're not prioritizing your time and you're not taking time out to show someone else that you care about them, about their time, then it has the opposite effect, right? Lastly, it's cyclical, right? Others will then go out of their way to respect your time. So it's just back and forth. I'm thinking of you. I'm making sure I'm on time, managing my day right, and putting you first. And guess what? It's subconscious. When they think of you, they're thinking of not letting you down and respecting your time. So it's just this back and forth cyclical thing, and it's really good. And again, it's just all positive stuff. And most of us could benefit from this on one way or another. It doesn't matter what trade you're in, what job you're in. Think about getting your furniture delivered, right, or something. Like when they show up with the furniture delivery, when they said they were going to show up, everybody's happier. When they are 3 hours late, 4 hours late from what they said they were going to do or outside the window of time they gave you, everyone's frustrated, right? So this works in all areas of life, all areas of industry for sure. Okay, so what are some of the simple ways to improve when you struggle with time management like what I did? Okay, these are just some things. I have a few things that I wrote out, but there might be a few more that just kind of pop in my head that I'll share as well. So number one, I wrote, for me, my whole day really is based on like the night before. So I wrote, go to bed 15 to 30 minutes earlier so you can wake up 15 to 30 minutes earlier. There's no doubt about it. If I get my butt to bed by, let's say 11 at the latest, getting up at 6:30, it's not hard. I'm fine on like 7 hours of sleep. I feel really good. But if I'm pushing it, if I'm even if it's just work related stuff, I'm staying up trying to get more things done, and that's typically what it is. I'll stay up till midnight, maybe even just a little bit after that, and then getting up at 6:30, 6:45, feel a little draggy. That's just, you're not hitting that good window, that good sleep time, and it kind of affects the whole day. So try to get to bed, just carve out another 15, 20, 25, do it in 15-minute, 5-minute chunks, whatever you got to do. Start trying to go to bed a little earlier so you can then get up a little earlier and have more time in the beginning of your day, which will set you up for success without question. How your day starts oftentimes is kind of how the whole day plays out. So create a stressless, or a less stressed morning, and chances are the rest of the day, and I'm taking my own advice here because I don't always live this out. I'm the first one that fails in a lot of these areas. So I'm just, from experience, from all the education I've had and listening to great mentors, these are just things that I know I need to work on and talk about. Number 2, set alarms on your phone for important meetings, events that require you to be on time or early. I do it like crazy. So here, I'm recording this so you can see my phone. If I hit alarms, you could do this obviously on your Apple Watch or smartwatch, whatever you got. But I just do it on my phone because I don't know. I guess I could do it on it's just pick one or the other, right? It doesn't really matter. No, I don't want that. Here we go. Clock. So alarms. See, there's a bunch. I have a bunch of alarms on my phone. I think I have about 10. And the reason I have them there is because most of them are daily or at least weekly reminders of things, like days I have to leave at a certain time, meeting times, appointments times, things that are important. And my phone went off earlier in this podcast because this is the day that I have to leave around now to be on time for baseball. So I got to wrap this thing up. So set alarms on your phone. They're very helpful and just keep you on task because we can get wrapped up in what we're doing. Number 3, take a moment and write down why this matters. This is your why statement for change. When being on time matters to you because it matters to others' success, this will help drive success. So, if you know your why in life for a lot of things you're trying to change or fix, if you're really clear on what your why is, that's going to really help you achieve what you want to achieve. Drill down deep why it's good to be on time, why it's good to do X, Y, or Z. And when it comes down to it, usually it's you don't want to let someone else down that's very important to you. So once you know what that why is, write it down, whatever, and be really clear on it. That'll really help you be able to create that necessary momentum and get into a rhythm of doing something good. Number 4, accountability. I talked about it earlier. So tell others, coworkers, supervisors, spouses, children, that you are working on this. This is an area maybe that you're struggling in or weak in. You're working on it, and you're letting them know how much this matters to you. When they know that, when they know something really matters to you, then it'll matter to them too. And they'll know that it's coming from a really good place and that you're working hard on this. So create a small reward system for yourself with your accountability to celebrate the times you properly manage your time. Maybe you treat yourself to something that's that you really enjoy for yourself. Could be something really inexpensive. Could be a meal. Could be something you collect. It could be anything. But create a reward system, something that keeps you accountable, and that can go a long way to at least again creating where you're linking one good week with another good week, and over time, over a period of a few months or 90 days, these things can become obviously more of a ritual, more of a just the way you live your life. And typically, I think that does take over 2 months. It's somewhere between 60 and 90 days that magic can happen, based on reading and things I've heard. So let's conclude this message here. So I have some wisdom from the Bible because there's so much biblical wisdom out there and truth. I just grabbed a couple of bits of scripture about this particular topic, so time management. So let's go to James chapter 4, verse 13 and 14. It says, "Now listen, You who say, today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a town, stay there a year, conduct business, and make money. You do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Pretty poignant. And there's a lot of, again, there's so much great wisdom in the Bible that a lot of people, don't know, don't pay attention to, don't read for themselves, don't give it. The Bible is so rich of life lessons and how to live your life, the best way possible. And this just is telling you right now, live in the moment, live for today, structure your day, get the most out of your day. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. And so think about that, making the most of each moment, each day. And that comes through managing your time. Don't just blow off your day. And we all have those days, but I love to put my head down at night and think like, what did I accomplish today? What are the choices and decisions that I made in this day? Kind of almost like a little self-evaluation, like before I go to bed. You want to kind of feel like every day you got something good done. Every day was a win for some area of your life. And so it's good to have some reflection. I think a lot of us, we're so busy living our lives that we don't reflect at all on how they're going. And so I think we need those moments. And for me, it's kind of when I lay my head down at night and I say a prayer and I thank God for all my blessings and for my family and all the amazing people in my life. It's, what good did I do today? How did I serve someone else? How did I make someone else's life better? And a lot of that is time. It's how did I use my time? Okay. Another bit of scripture here is from Proverbs 21:5. It says, the plans of the diligent lead only to plenty, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Again, plans of the diligent lead only to plenty. It means when you're purposeful, when you're agenda driven, when you're planning, when you're using your time wisely and constructively and putting things down and having a vision for tomorrow and for next week. When you're doing those things, things come to you. And it's because of the work that you're investing in yourself, the time you're putting into these things, these tasks, the way you're living your life. Okay? If we go about our life lazily, then we're probably not going to get the results we're after. And we're going to have poverty in this case just kind of means just all the things that we don't want for ourselves, okay? It doesn't necessarily just mean less money. It kind of means just a life of want and of, where we don't have all the things that we need in life because we're not focused and driven and getting things done, okay? So what has it done for me in recent years? I've had a mentor that has helped me immensely, Dr. Ron Eccles. I've had one of my best friends who I work for, Mike Westerdahl, who's a mentor and an accountability partner, my coworkers, my wife, certainly, my children, having to be on time with them, getting them to events and stuff. I mean, these are all ways that I've had to show up for other people in my life, professionally and personally. And I'm not perfect, as I've said, but I have improved in the last couple of years as I made this more of a focus in my life. That's really why I wanted to talk about this to you today, because it's so meaningful, so important, and there's so much value in it. And I think it's largely goes undiscussed. A lot of people are not talking about how they're managing their time, and it's not sexy conversation necessarily, but it is our most precious gift is the time that we have to live this life. And every day has got the same amount of hours in it and the same amount of minutes for every single person on this earth. And how are we using them, right? So, it's time for you, I think, if this is something important to you, create your own schedule, right? Start writing some things down that you'd like to get done and stick to it. Because ultimately it comes down to consistency and discipline with any of these individual goals and plans and objectives in your life. And if you dig in and you stick with it and you grind for that 60 to 90 day period, like anything that's important to us, it really does take about that amount of time in order for something to just stick and be part of who we are. You will be the better person for it. Again, we're all going to fail. We're going to fall off the wagon, but every day is a new opportunity to make that decision to start living differently and start using your time wisely. So honor others, honor yourself, and start doing a better job of managing your time. It's been a lot of fun. Love this topic. I could go on and on and on, but it's so, so important, so crucial. So we thank you, our team here at Strong by Design, for checking us out, and for our first solo podcast by yours truly, Coach Chris. Really enjoyed this. Please be sure to smash that 5 stars, whatever platform you're listening. Leave a review anywhere. We love getting these reviews. That's really what helps us move up in the rankings and become more visible for other people, other listeners searching for a good podcast. So we thank you so much for doing that. And please share this episode with somebody that you know in your life, a friend or family member who could benefit from managing their time better. We all know somebody. We all know that late guy or late girl, right, who could maybe benefit from this conversation, or at least this message, because I'm only talking to you right now. I'm not talking to a guest. I'm not used to this yet. I'm so used to having a guest. But it has been a lot of fun, absolute joy. And we love you at Strong by Design. And next week, another episode. As always, we release on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. And we appreciate you. Have a great rest of your week. God bless you. Talk with you soon.